today's question comes from my good friend Norman, and it is, how do I get my
I'm the caveman.
Hey guys, what's going on? Mike the Caveman Kuhn here again from Paleo Primal Island and MikeTheCaveman.com. And today's question comes from my good friend Norman, and it is, how do I get my kids to eat real food? Now, to be clear, I don't have any kids of my own yet. I do have a niece and nephew I've helped out with, and I do have almost 15 years of working with kids, so I understand a little bit about their mentality and how to get through to them. So the biggest thing I would say is, unlike with an adult, I wouldn't say empty the pantry. If I was working with you as an adult, that'd be one of the first things I'd say is just dump everything, get rid of all the garbage, just gone. However, if you're working with your family, particularly your kids, you're gonna want to start slow. Pick one meal. All right, let's say breakfast. Breakfast is a pretty easy one. You know, instead of feeding them cereal, give them bacon and eggs. The beauty of that is there are hundreds of ways that you can cook eggs. All right, that's a nice, easy place to start. Now, if they don't like eggs, not their favorite food, and that might be a problem, what can you do? Well, there's other options. There's my keto pancake recipe. There are hot nutty cereals. So you make oatmeal, but using nuts instead. So there are options, but start with one meal. Phase out the bread, phase out the cereals, focus on just getting them to eat some real foods at breakfast. Then let's say maybe you work on cutting out the pastas. Okay, so dinner time you're having a meat, you're having a pasta. So get rid of the pasta. What you can do is you can throw in some cauliflower rice or cauliflower mashed potatoes for the starchy end, or you could even throw in a little bit of white rice, because that's still better than eating the gluten-containing grains. So that white rice, if you cook it and cool it to create that resistant starch, will be exponentially better than gluten-containing pasta. All right? When it comes to lunch, you know, oh, they get a sandwich, or they get snacks and stuff. Same kind of thing. Focus on giving them real foods. So if chips are their normal snack, well, there's great companies like Jackson's Honest. If they're normally getting a pudding cup or Jell-O, you could always take that Great Lakes grass-fed gelatin, and you can make puddings, you can make Jell-O out of it. You can change up, you can add a little bit of, like, say, strawberry stevia to make it into a Jell-O, to get some chocolate stevia, make it into a pudding with a little bit of grass-fed heavy cream. So there's options. So replace it with real foods. The next thing, make them part of the process, okay? If you're cooking, get them involved, get them cooking. That could be huge. Just the act of being a part of it, now they have their hands in there, just that will get them in the right mindset. Another thing, keep it simple. If there are foods they already enjoy that are real food based, but you just have to pull out the bun or pull out the pasta, great, stick to that, okay? Make alternatives if you have to, if you can't. But don't go out and say, all right, your first meal is gonna be liver, which, incredible for you, probably the healthiest food on the planet, but it's not gonna be the best thing for a kid who's not used to eating liver. Or like tom kha gai soup. I love that. It's delicious. Coconut milk. It's got a lot of spices. It's excellent. You know, you get a good protein in there, some good fats. Amazing stuff. But the spice palette probably isn't right for a kid that isn't used to it. The problem is sweets, those puddings and jellos we talked about. I have an awesome recipe video for ice cream. Focus on getting them to eat real foods. You know, keep fruits around. Keep fruits around as a snack. That'll help crave their sweet tooth, you know? Next thing, there are other companies that have amazing products. My friends over at Eating Evolved, like Fat Fudge, they are great, real food-based sweets, okay? They're doing the right thing. Those will get your kids through on that sweet end, but not trash them long-term. It's always best to make it about rewards punishments. Like, if you didn't eat your vegetables, you're not going to get to play. But at the same time, it isn't always best to reward. You know, you get a toy if you eat this. No, just make it so that it isn't that big of a deal. If you get brushback where they start to throw a tantrum or they just will not eat it, well, suggest something else. Suggest maybe you're going to go play for a little bit. And then after they played a little bit, they get a little hungrier, they come back, and maybe now they'll eat it. Also, don't go cooking more than one meal. You're not a short order chef. You're not making one meal for everybody. A, it's going to drive you crazy, and B, this is the food. You are the parent. You are the one deciding what's going to be on the table. Now, that doesn't mean be draconian about it. Those are the foods you're eating. That's what is available. That's it. Use their interest. Like I said, make it enjoyable. Okay? If they're into superheroes, make them know, like, oh, well, Superman would definitely eat this. If you want to be big and strong like Superman, you got to eat this. Or if they're into sports, you know, let them understand. It's about education. Let them understand that they want to be the best. They got to eat the best foods. You got to fuel that car. If they're into cars, you know, you got to put the right gas. You got to make sure that everything's tuned up nice and fine. If they're into dinosaurs, it's a great teaching opportunity. You know, it's amazing. Having worked with kids, it's amazing how smart they really are. You know, I always talk about dinosaurs. They knew more than I did half the time. But again, talk about, herbivores and carnivores and omnivores. We're omnivores. We eat everything. We're kind of like a T-Rex. We're kind of like a Triceratops. We eat them all. Make it so that it's fun for them, so they enjoy it. Food should be enjoyable. One last thing though, let's be clear. They're not going to be perfect. They're kids. So when they go out to a friend's house, they go out to a party, don't worry if they eat garbage there, okay? If you make foods forbidden, well, just like with drugs or alcohol, that's when they're going to be more tempted to try it. If, however, you teach them, educate them early, make them understand that when they eat these things, they're not going to feel right. I mean, that's a lot of what I do, is that helping people understand what foods are going to make them feel great and allow them to perform better and allow them to look better. For your kids, let them know this one doesn't make us healthy. We don't really eat that because we aren't healthy when we eat that. Now, it doesn't mean, say, don't eat sugar because I don't want you getting diabetes or non-alcoholic fatty liver disease when you get older. No, that's non-tangible to them. It's so far away in the future that it doesn't make sense. But explain to them that, well, maybe if you don't eat this, you won't have a tummy ache. Or maybe if you don't eat this, you'll be able to run faster on the soccer field. Or you'll be able to hit the ball farther on the baseball field. Put it in terms they can understand. But don't underestimate them. Kids are really smart. And if you have those discussions with them, if you really focus on letting them understand why you do what you do and not making it, no, you don't do that, they'll come along with you. And the more you make those little changes, slow, gradual changes, you'll see some amazing results. Alright guys, hopefully this helped you out. You know what to do. Like and subscribe down below. Share it with your friends. Of course, head on over to Instagram and Twitter. Follow me at Mike the Caveman. Or on Facebook at Paleo Primal Island. And of course, over on MikeTheCaveman.com. That being said, enjoy this beautiful day. Get your kids some real foods. I'll see you tomorrow.